Well, howdy tubers. Well, back on the sweet stick again. I've got the flaps and the ailerons hinged, and matter of fact, the elevator and rudder hinged on the fuselage. Want to say if anybody's haven't modeled for a while or something, to see if they know about this little Modicker slot machine. And this is my adapted one. So that you can, I just really lightly tack glue this on there with CA, of course. And this is a little bit, this is probably, I think, 3/32, and I mean 1/32, and this is probably 1/16 to shim it either way that I need to go to get to the center of the aileron and flap and of course on the wing. But let's see here. I got a chunk of wood right here. Okay. Let's see if I can. I doubt if I can do this. Let's see how. Yeah, that thing's in there. Well, oh well. Okay, we'll try it one-handed here. There you go. Well, there it is. Right there you go. Of course, my preferred hinges, but usually for, of course, the bigger airplane, are the Robart hinge points. And let's see. I'll pause. These I've only seen very few that are black. They're usually gray colored, but anyways, there's I'll say for the quarter scale airplanes. This is about 5/32 in diameter. And then they got what they call a hinge point pocket. And I like using them, at least on one side, because then you can at least take that control surface off, repair or whatever you're doing, or a realignment or who knows what, and then put it back together. No gluing. But because it's got that set screw right there. I really like them. And the reason it's taken me so long to get back to this, besides working on the other ones, I've been trying to figure out, I wanted to make Fowler flaps or some sort of, and I just couldn't get what I wanted, so I just went back to the plain flap, and I made these a little bigger than they were on the other one. And of course, the more travel, just like on the H5, I figured the smaller they are, the more travel you got, the more they'll work. But I like using flaps on models and whatever. Only the one model I had that they just didn't seem to do a thing was a Byron's Corsair with the segmented flaps. They just didn't seem to do anything. Now the Byron's Zero, which I love, and by the way, I do have a Byron's Corsair to build. The Byron Zero, you could put the flaps down maybe a ½ inch, and it would take off and climb out. And then you put the flaps up, and the nose would come down, and you be cruising along. And of course, I had them come down 85, 90 degrees, well, 85 anyways, maybe 80 degrees. I like to use them. Anyways, there was something else. Of course, I'm cutting this fiberglass to put on here after I take the flaps and everything off there with CA. Just soak it through there and makes a heck of a strong and yet smelly and smoky, I gotta tell you that, when you're doing it. But and I don't know what grade of cloth that is. Maybe you guys can tell by looking. But I've got, right up the street, I got this from, of course, my friend Chris, it's got the gondolas on the, down at the plaza. He went in with me to get this roll that was right down the street, a place called Cargo Largo, which they're right now building. Well, it's built and they're stocking it, and they might open next month. Great, humongous, quarter-mile long or so building that's behind the original one here on 35th and Nolan. And then I might even bought this there at Cargo Largo too, and might have even bought this roll of the, they call it mat, and that's what we used in the Air Force. And of course, if you don't know it, you can take this and you can kind of just split it in half. In other words, thickness wise, you can just tear it in half and use half the thickness so it'll go around something flexible. And I got some, I didn't see this up there when I cut some more off of this big roll, or I would have just grabbed this. But all the New Era and the Mini Master in there. This here one is called a Bill Evans Tracer. See the stabilizer? Well, if you do, you have to show it to me, because it don't have one. And of course, the big red stick here is my design, so I could use this. I can't remember the name of the engine, but it was a electronic ignition engine that has a problem, I think, with the ignition. But I've got a mess of airplanes to build. I might put it, I've got a list that I put in my pocket that I made when I was at my parents', and I might have to take a picture of it sometime, or if I can go find it. Let me look. Here's my list. I've got a Byron Staggerwing, Byron's P-51, two Cessna 310s, 10 foot, an AT-6 that's 101 inch, a Lancer that's, I think, 100 inch, Focke-Wulf 190 that's 92 inch, I believe, my B-25 that's 12 foot, Zero, that's a Byron Zero that if I don't know if I can get, I might just have to make my own wings or something, and I don't know about landing gear, if you can get Byron's landing gear anymore, or parts. I got Byron's Corsair. I got Norm Page Mach 1 that's, well, I can show you that in a little bit. And I got a Goldberg Chipmunk started, and then the Sweet Stick I'm working on. And got two Chaoses that are started, that one of them's my boys. And that, and of course, got the Mini Master done, so I could take that off the list. And then the Byron's F-16. So that's all the airplanes I've, at least that are on this list. Here's the Norm Page's Midwest version, because this was the plans from Midwest that I got from AMA. So, obviously, scratch built. And I have spring air retracts. Here's the foam wing that I cut and sheeted. And ready to cut the holes in there for the wheels anyways. And I'm planning on, of course, glassing this, not monocoat, and paint it up in the version I had first. So, And of course that's just elevators and ailerons and rudder there. And there's my pipe rack, wing rack, PVC pipe. Actually needs a few more tubes on there, but well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh no, 13. So, oh, I see a spot in the middle there where I could put the wing for the, well, that might have been where the wing for the glider was at. Right now I just got it sitting here. Here's the 101-inch AT6. The rudder's down there on the top of the wing for the B-25, and there's the stabilizer and elevator on top of the stabilizer for the B-25. And here's my 101-inch Lance Air. And I'm gonna make the landing gear that some of the Lancers had that looked like a Skymaster or a 210 RG or I guess a 182 RG. I just got a bunch of them to work on. There's Byron's P51 nose there. There's the center section with a landing gear for that AT6, and there's 0 back there in the corner, and one wing, and there's some partials of other wings that hopefully I can put them together. Oh, maybe I always liked the Zenoa G62s. Anybody got any cheap one of those for sale? I mean cheap, because I know probably nobody likes them anymore. If you've got one and it's had a ground strike or something, and the prop you think is bent, or the crank you think is bent, I'll still take it, because the crank isn't bent unless it was real hard. But I think I already showed you the Byron's F-16, which would be, well, I told you yesterday when I was flying where the first F-16 went in. Got hit on the radio. Of course, that was on 72. So anyways, I'm getting to be a long video. I'm going to need to get to getting this fiberglass. And then, well, I'll show you that next time. Anyway, there you go. God bless.